Good morning, everyone. I hope your day is off to a good start. We're doing our morning traffic update here, where we kind of guide you through the peak of the commute with what kind of issues we're seeing, where they are, and how you can avoid those areas. And we do have a couple of them that have popped up here within the last 5 to 10 minutes. Let's start by going to La Vista, where we have a crash. This is 72nd and Centennial. Notice all the delays that are showing up as you're heading northbound. This is about halfway between Cornhusker and Giles that we're seeing this one being in place. So let me zoom in a little bit and you can kind of get a better idea where we're talking about. So the crash is right about there. And you can see those northbound delays that are in place. So use caution if you're heading into that area. Likely going to be some emergency crews that are on hand with that one. And you may want to make your way over toward Washington or 84th, if you will, as your alternate route to go northbound, southbound, instead of using 72nd as you're going there on in that part of the metro. They're right around the border of La Vista and Papillion. Also, watching this situation with a vehicle fire on 52nd Street just to the south of Dodge Street. So this could be impacting travel in Dundee. Watch for emergency crews if you're heading along Dodge. Those could be in that area. And likely not going to be able to travel there between Dodge and Farnham on 52nd. You'll need to avoid that area. Notice 50th Street also with some delays. That's probably people that are kind of getting detoured into that area to go north and south. So those are a couple of things that we are seeing with issues. Also, I've been noting some delays that have been in place northbound on the JFK as you're approaching I-80. No reports of any crashes there, but you can see the speeds definitely being impacted with the orange shading. I can give you an estimates here, and you're looking at generally about 20 to 30 miles per hour as you're going through that stretch. We do have an NDOT camera there, so let me show you what things are looking like as you're approaching I-80. And you can see things just kind of crawling at this point. No crashes, just heavy traffic load in this area of the JFK. So you're looking at things just crawling as you're making your way toward I-80 on the JFK. Just with the heavy traffic load in this area is the reason for that. Show you a different view of what's going on in this area. We'll switch the camera and go a little further down the JFK. This is what it's looking like closer to L Street with some of these delays. Just wait a minute, we'll get that camera loading here. There we go. And you can see some brake lights that are showing up in that shot as well as you're getting into the distance with that slow travel in place. I think now we'll zoom out, give you the full picture of what the commute is looking like. And we mentioned those couple of incidents that are in place affecting travel on 72nd with a crash there near Centennial. It's about halfway between Cornhusker and Giles. You might want to use the Washington for the time being with that one being in place. And then that vehicle fire that is 52nd just to the south of Dodge. That could impact travel there in Dundee. The delays on the JFK do extend from I-80, where we are just looking, all the way back down past the Chandler area, almost to little bit past Childs with those delays. So really backing up. Surprising that there's not any kind of crashes that have come in with that kind of pattern. Let me look around on a couple of these cams and see if we are having any kind of issues on the JFK with those delays. Show you a little more of what I'm looking at there. But definitely congested as you head through this stretch, but not seeing any signs of a larger cause. As I'm looking over here onto the side, and I have the view of the cameras here. So it's definitely very slow. Let me show you what I'm seeing here. And this is a view of the JFK as you're making your way on the Gilmore Bridge. And you're going to notice just how slow this is. Unfortunately, kind of blocking the view here. Let me take this down. There you go. And you can see how things are just kind of struggling through this stretch as you're going northbound on the JFK near Gilmore. Let's go back to the map. Show you what other areas have some struggles, and that includes some of the familiar ones that you would expect during the peak of the commute, like Dodge as you're going through the area around 156, 168 with the high traffic volume eastbound through that stretch. You've got a few intersections on Center that are pretty slow. 168, 156, as well as 192nd with some delays. The interchange with that ramp there at 680 in Dodge, as per usual, is quite slow as you're trying to get to westbound Dodge, as well as eastbound Dodge approaching 90th with delays. Those are both spots that typically flare up at this point in the commute. And then you have 370. This is really close to Papio La Vista South High with some delays as you're going eastbound. Another spot that we do tend to get some delays at this point. I am going to zoom in here. 144th, really slow, right near I-80. Let me see what we can find out on the camera there. Okay, well, the camera's not pointed where I need it to be to see 144th, but you can see plenty of delays that are showing up in this area. I'll give you an idea of some of those speeds that we are experiencing, particularly southbound is where we have some delays. Yeah, you're down around 5-10 miles per hour as you're heading through that stretch of 144th. So be ready for it to be quite slow in that area. All right, let's revisit a couple of our top impacts that we're seeing. We do have this crash, 72nd Street near Centennial. This is about halfway between Cornhusker and Giles, where we have a crash that is impacting travel in that area. For some reference, that is roughly about the area near the Walgreens that you're talking about. Just a little north of the Walgreens and the Starbucks. That's where that crash is on 72nd. So you're going to want to avoid that area, and you can see here as I move the graphic, it does look a lot smoother for travel on Washington. So as you're going between La Vista and Papillion, you're going to want to use that as your alternate route. Another area where we've had some traffic problems in Dundee. This is a vehicle fire, 52nd Street, just to the south of Dodge. And likely that you probably can't get through that stretch at this point between Dodge and Farnham as that scene gets worked. So you want to make sure you are using a different north-south route. You can see a lot of people are choosing 50th as their option with the traffic looking pretty slow in that area. But plan accordingly with that being in place. And I've been watching the JFK where things are just rather slow, all the way from I-80 down to just past Chandler, where we're seeing those delays. Haven't had any reports of crash or anything along those lines. It's just been really slow on the JFK. So a lot of people trying to make their way to their destination. If you're maybe wanting to avoid that, we could take a look at Fort Crook, which does look pretty good at this point. If you're trying to use that as an alternate route, you get north of Chandler, the fork to 13th Street also holding up pretty well. So that would be a good option to avoid the JFK if you are looking to do so. See what we can give you an update on. Let's take a view of the JFK in that area, maybe near L Street. Get that camera loaded for you. Let's take a look at what things are looking like on the JFK, roughly around L Street, where some of those delays are in place right now. It's a little sluggish, nothing major, but you are moving, just not quite up to full speed. Then I think we'll check in real quick here on Dodge. Let's go to about 168th or so and take a look at some of the delays that are showing up in that area. It's slow for sure. It is moving, just probably looking at speeds that are about 20, 25 miles per hour through that stretch, so be ready for it to be slow there as well. And I think with that, we will wrap up today's stream. Again, watch that crash on 72nd near Centennial. That's about halfway between Giles and Cornhusker. You might want to use Washington or 84th Street as your alternate route there for travel between La Vista and Papillion. And then otherwise, we have that vehicle fire that we'll continue to monitor there on 52nd Street there to the south of Dodge. We always have the latest updates posted on our traffic blog. That's on firstalert6.com. Check that. And we'll be live here in just about 5 minutes with the latest update on First Alert 6. So hope you have a great rest of your day. Stay safe if you're going to be traveling around, and enjoy your Wednesday.